Congratulations! You just landed your first job as a freelance artist. Now, how the heck do you work with clients and keep them coming back so that you can keep making that sweet, sweet dough? Stay tuned as I share my tips for making your clients love you and your work. Tip number 1 is clear communication. Talk with your client, preferably in person or through video chat about their needs and the project. Before you start talking about budget and timelines, get to know your client and make them feel heard and valued. Show interest in their project and ask questions about what their goals are for the project. For example, when I'm working with a publisher on a new children's book, I start off with a simple, friendly greeting and ask the client how they are doing. From there, ask them to tell you more about the story, what inspired them to write and create the book, what their vision for the book is, to describe the characters in the book, etc. Helps you to develop trust and a relationship with your client while also making sure that you are both on the same page. Speaking of communication, please remember to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out and it'll help you get more tips and tricks about how to make money with your art. Tip number 2, talk about a budget and a timeline. Now that you are familiar with the project, ask your client what their timeline and budget for the project is. It is important to already have an idea of how long it takes you to complete a project. If you haven't had any freelance projects before, that's okay. Practice timing yourself and seeing how long it realistically takes you to complete a design, illustration, or whatever your specialty is. From there, you can figure out your budget by multiplying your hourly wage by the amount of hours it took you to complete your project. For example, if it took you 2 hours to draw a character, multiply 2 by your hourly rate. If you don't know what your hourly rate should be, look at your expertise level. If you are a beginner, maybe start around the minimum wage region, say $15 an hour. If you are more experienced, say a year or more in the freelance world, I would raise your rate to somewhere around 20 to 25 at least. So your minimum character design budget, if you were charging 20 to 25 an hour times 2 hours that it took you to complete the project, you'd be looking at around a $40 to $50 budget. One bonus tip is ask your client what their budget and timeline are first. You might be surprised by the offer that they give you. It might be higher than what you originally had in mind. If their budget is lower than what you had in mind, simply ask yourself, is the project going to benefit you in the long run? Will it provide you with good exposure, more work for your resume and portfolio, etc.? If it's not worth it, then politely decline, and don't be afraid to negotiate if necessary. Step 3, set up a contract. Now that you have verbally agreed to a budget, timeline, and project details, it's time to put that agreement in writing. You can easily look up an art mockup contract on Google, or you can register for a free account on UpWork, and I go more into UpWork in my previous video, so you can check that out in the link below or right above. Basically, UpWork helps protect you and your client by helping you set up a contract, payment system, and a messaging center where you can communicate and send finished artwork. This is a great option that I highly recommend because it is free to use and it ensures that you will get paid for your work. Tip 4 is keep your client in the loop. Now that you have set up a contract and are ready to go, make sure that you communicate with your client throughout the process. Now that you send them updates as you work and remind them that they can reach out to you at any time. I typically send clients sketches before I move on to the final piece. That way, we can make sure we are both on the same page and they can give me any changes that they think are necessary before I move on to the final piece. Trust me, making changes to sketches is far easier than making any kind of changes to the final piece. Tip number 5 is finish the project a little early. Don't procrastinate. I repeat, do not procrastinate when you are working with a client. Make sure you have enough time budgeted to get the project done earlier than the deadline that you agreed on. Delivering the project a little bit early ensures that you have enough time to make any little changes necessary, and it's also a pleasant surprise for your client, showing them that you went above and beyond for the project. Let me know in the comments what your art goals are and what I can do to help you reach your art goals as a freelance artist. Have a great day!